All right, folks, it's time for another Logan Hall grill stream. Today we're doing Porterhouse, a nice thick, uh, about like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches thick porterhouse steak. It's about 2 pounds or so. Picked it up from my local butcher yesterday. He does a lot of great, great sort of quality cuts. So this is a prime steak as well. So not the choice shitter steak, right? Um, but anyway, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so yes, I am wearing sunglasses in the house. Uh, that's fine because we're about to go outside. I want to show you, I guess, sort of what we have going on first, and then we'll go out to the grill. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to flip the camera, if I remember how to do that. So here's the steak itself. It's in a sous vide bath. So now you might be asking, well, okay, so what's a sous vide bath? So to boil it down, it's basically, you know, kind of like boiling a steak almost, right? But again, when people hear that, they're like, oh no, that sounds terrible, right? So, so the idea is you essentially have a bath, and this sort of a device here will essentially evenly circulate water at the exact temperature that you want throughout this, sort of vessel or sort of, bath. Again, usually for like, any sort of average steak, maybe like a 1 pound steak, you can do it for like an hour. And then by the time that the hour's done, you can pull it out, you can pat it down, you can do a nice sear on it. And then it'll be evenly cooked throughout. So that's the main sort of advantage of doing sous vide. Everything is wall to wall, very evenly cooked. And so this just got done here. And so this was going for about 2 hours, mainly because it's a thicker steak, and I just want to make sure everything there is, fully, cooked through, properly, right? Um, so anyway, so this is done. I also have some potatoes going here. I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes later on, but I may or may not stream that. I'm not actually sure yet. But now that this is done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this out and we're gonna transfer it over to this rack here. One thing I want to do before I do that real quick is actually get off Wi-Fi. That might sound a little bit weird, but it's because, well, let's see. Okay. All right. So there might be a little bit of lag there. I mean, I might have lost you there for a moment, um, but again, when I look back at these streams, I found that my sort of video quality is quite choppy, and I think what's happening is my phone is trying to get back to like my router, um, and it's trying like to bounce off the router, trying to bounce onto it again and whatnot. Um, so anyway, so one thing, I can see the camera and I can see what's going through, but I don't know if you guys can. Um, so I don't think we have anybody in the chat to verify that right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to jump out and then I'm going to come back in real quick. So give me 1 second. Okay. Um, I think we're all back now. I think you can see me. So again, let's put you guys down right here for a moment. And I'll let you just kind of watch me sort of take this out. Again, we're going to pat this down, and then I have a ripping hot Kamado Joe Classic III outside. Again, you've seen that like in previous videos, but we're going to use that to put the final sear on it. This was cooked to 137. Some of the super steak experts might scoff at that a little bit. Typically for a nice sort of a medium rare, you would, typically go for about like 135 internal temperature. I I usually do that too, but I'm kind of experimenting this time. I want a bit of a more like bright pink um, internal here this time instead of I guess like a darker pink, I guess like a more raw pink. So I'm gonna bump it up just a little bit. And let's go ahead and turn this off. Actually, I can just unplug it. We're gonna move that out of the way so that you guys can see what's going on here with the steak. All right. So what I'll do now, actually, just to show you first. So what I did was I actually put like, pats of butter in there. I put a bit of fresh thyme, rosemary, and a few little garlic cloves. Like the idea of this is, you do all your seasoning in here first. And then, you know, when you go out to the grill, sort of everything is already, very flavorful and whatnot. You're just concerned about getting a nice sear on it. Again, I mean, I've mentioned this several times, like in other videos, and being on stream with other folks, like OC and whatnot. But essentially, if your steak is a pretty thick steak, you need to separate the internal portion versus the outside portion when you're cooking it, because that's how you're going to get the best sort of results. So I'm going to take this bag. Let's toss that in the sink for the time being. Again, we don't need all the things like I put on here. You know what? Let me just get a paper towel here. So again, I'm going to take all this stuff off. We don't need this. It's already been flavored. Like there was like also there was sort of like a garlic sort of compound butter that I made earlier, and like I put that in there too. But anything that's going to burn up easily when we're searing this, we want to get this off. And we also want to try to pack this down as much as we can. Again, water is going to be our biggest sort of blocker here to essentially get the nice evenly cooked sear that we want on the top here. So again, I'm just going to pack this down. I'm actually going to use one more paper towel here just to really get things dry. Is that in frame? Yes, it is. Oh, landscape. Yeah. Sorry, Kevin. Hey, welcome there, Amandui. Thank you for joining me. In case you guys are just joining me again, I just took the Porterhouse out of the sous vide bath. So I had this going at 135 Fahrenheit. Again, a lot of steak folks might say, do just like 135. I'm targeting for a slightly more pink interior rather than a dark pink interior. So again, I'm going to try that out this time and see how I like that. But again, this is pretty dry now. So what we're going to do next, we're going to take this outside to the grill. I've been preheating the Kamado Joe now for about 30 minutes, just to get it like, ripping hot, sort of sear level, right? So what we'll do now is, now that we're in landscape, Kevin is happy. What I want to do, actually, let me grab a few things. We need some tongs, right? And I'm also going to put on my fireproof gloves as well. But before I do that, I want to show the watch today. Again, I'm wearing the Rolex Datejust 16013 from 1980, two-tone Rollesaur, sort of like the white dial with black-topped indices. I'm only a two-watch guy. I mean, this is, I mean, I have this, and then I have the Zenith. I'm perfectly happy with two watches. I think folks oftentimes, get carried away. They buy a big watch box and they feel like they have to fill it, right? And I think that's what kind of gets that. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I forgot the tongue. So let's take this outside. I'm gonna open my door real quick. All right. So let's let the camera adjust to the outside here. I'm going to close my door. and you join me outside on the patio of Casa del Logan. So again, so what we have here, the temperature gauge is actually, I think, a little generous. I do need to actually adjust it a little bit more, but currently we're sitting at about 500 Fahrenheit. Um, you know, again, some like you want typically like 600 to 700 when you're doing like a hard sear like this. Um, but again, I think what I have currently is fine. Um, so what I'm hoping this time is that my camera does not overheat and we essentially cut the stream short. But real quick, so I have a cast iron grate here that I actually just purchased this week just for this cook because I think that'll give me the best sear. But what I want to do is I'm actually going to readjust you guys a little bit. I'm going to put this over here. I will use these grates later on for something else that like I'm making. I'm actually doing some chicken um, for something else that like I'm making later on. But let's first put this off to the side here. Oops. So I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of pan. So I'm thinking some like it will flame up a little bit. Maybe not. But again, this is just to get a non-stick surface here. And what I'll do now, I'm going to give you guys a better view here, sort of one that you can actually see. And hopefully it's not sort of, you're gonna make this sort of get sort of overheated. But again, let's try to do this quickly so that it doesn't overheat. So again, I've got the steak here. So what I'll do is I will essentially slap it on here, do about 30 seconds, don't touch it. Then I'm going to turn it about 45 degrees another way just to get that nice sort of grid marks. We're going to flip it, do another 30 seconds, rotate 45, and then another 30 seconds. So this is going to basically be on like for like 2 minutes. That's it. Until this has a nice sort of look to it. That's when we pull it off. So there we go. So let's see if you guys can see that. Yes. So the sides, Kevin. So I'm doing green beans, and I'm also doing some mashed potatoes as well. But again, going back to this real quick, we're going to give this maybe another 10 seconds or so, and then sort of after that, we'll do it about sort of 45 degrees, so that we have like the nice sort of sear marks. All right, let's turn it. So hopefully that's not too smoky, guys. Hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, Kevin. But just sort of chuck it in. Chuck it in. That's what I say. So we'll give that just a little bit more time. Again, we are more focused about how it looks on the outside now. If we've already cooked it internally, we only care about how it looks on the outside now. So let's go ahead and flip it over. There we go, guys. So look at that. I will show you. Yeah. So there's some nice marks right there. Again, we're gonna do. Let me get you guys a little bit closer here. We're gonna do like another 30 seconds on this side, and then we will then flip it back over, or sorry, flip it 45 degrees so that we get that nice sort of grid marks. I think we're pretty much at that point now for this side. So let's again turn it. And we'll give that a little bit of time. All right. I think we are pretty much at the point now where, yeah. So that's looking pretty good. What I'm gonna, you know what? I actually need to switch hands here. Let me switch my glove here so that I can share this with you in the proper format here. So, okay. So that is our steak right there. Looking pretty good, huh? So let's go ahead and slap that down real quick. And I'm actually going to put some chicken on as well. So you guys can hang out here. And I'm just going to go grab some chicken real quick. One thing I'm also going to do, let's put this half sort of grid in here, because what I want to do is essentially get a sear on the chicken, and then I'll just kind of put up here just like to kind of, you know, finish off. So again, this is going to go inside for just a moment, just so that it can rest. And then I'm going to also do a little bit of chicken here. So I'll be right back. All right, I got the chicken. I'm going to put you guys back over here so you can see a little bit better, and hopefully that's not in the direct contact of the sun, I guess, so it's not going to get you guys or get me sort of kicked out, right? But real quick, here's the chicken that I'm doing. So I'm like, the chicken is not for tonight. I'm actually making this chicken for something else I'm making tomorrow. It'll be some of my lunch for later this week. But I figure, you know, since I already have the grill going, why not just go ahead and cook this today, and then I'll worry about that piece sort of tomorrow when I make that other thing. All right. So with chicken, you know, again, this has not been sort of internally cooked yet. Um, so I'm going to give it like about 3 minutes aside, and then we'll sort of flip over. And then, you know, for it to get up to about sort of 165, I'm just going to put it on this rack up here so that it's not on sort of the direct flame, right? So I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit. Are there any new comments? I think Ryan Singer has joined us here. So welcome, Ryan. Thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. Kevin, thank you. Thank you for the compliment on the steak. Again, guys, I mean, you know, people will like, you know, scoff at me or like make fun of me, like, oh, Jesus, this guy's a nerd, man. Like he's talking all these science things and all these other things about steaks. But again, you know, there is a science to this, and you know, it, if you have a certain way that you like to do your steaks, then again, sort of by all means, you know, just sort of do it that way. I'm just offering my advice, and sort of how I feel that you can improve uh, your steak cooking. So sort of, you know, take it or leave it. I'm going to switch my glove hand back to my right, because these are on direct heat here. Yeah, see, so these are already getting nice marks. I don't want to overdo that real bad or anything. So this one's going to be a little bit tricky actually, because it's underneath. All right, come on. All right. So again, I'm just getting a few sort of marks on these here. Um, maybe in about like another 30 seconds or so. I'm going to put them up here so that they can do their internal cooking up here. When I put them up here, I'm probably going to take you guys back inside, and then we'll take a look at the steak, because by the time that we are, you know, getting these sort of on the second level, the steak will have rested for like a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Again, when you rest, you can do it either covered or sort of uncovered. because I did the sous vide first, I'm not covering it this time. If you had just cooked this steak sort of normally, um, and it was still sort of very hot in the center, I would actually just not even cover because you don't have a lot of heat um, that is sort of trapped in there um, that sort of really need to help sort of settle the juices or anything like that. Um, so again, these are now good from an exterior perspective. But I'm actually going to close this and we're going to let these come up to temperature. This will take, maybe 10 minutes or so. But anyway, let's go ahead and close this up and let's go back inside and see how we did for the steak. So just ignore my messy townhome here. Will this dry out the chicken? Well, not necessarily, Kevin. So um, if it's on sort of like the very hot heat like that, it's only affecting the outside of the chicken. Um, I've actually raised the chicken up to that second level so that so that so that it doesn't cook the chicken too quickly, and ultimately getting it too hot, right? So again, this is the steak here. Again, hopefully that's come here. Let me just actually go around and just see what it looks like. Yeah, so here we go. That's how it turned out with the nice grill marks. What I'll do now is I'm gonna slice this up and we'll see how I did. Now, other people in the colony that have, shown steak pictures and everything, they they haven't shown what it looks like on the inside. That's like you're really only showing sort of half of what you've done. Again, so what again, sort of what really matters is what's on the inside. Um, so let's take the strip part out first. And I can already tell it's cooked very nicely. But I'll swing this around here in just a moment. I might have gotten it. Here, let me just, there we go. So that's how it turned out internally. Again, I'm very happy with that. What we'll do, just kind of cut on a bias like that. Whoops. All right, guys, so this is what we are left with. And let me actually come around just to make sure I'm in frame here. So that is a really nice medium, can sort of maybe I would call this like a medium rare plus, right? Um, so again, the benefit of the sous vide is that it evenly cooks everything um, inside evenly. So I'm going to take a bite and let you guys know how I did. That's incredible. Wow. Excellent. So guys, I'm probably going to cut it here actually, because the main thing that I wanted to show was the steak part. I'll move this in a little bit closer, sort of as we end here. But again, just to sort of recap, this was done in a sous vide bath for about 2 hours at 135. Sorry, 137. And then I used the Kamado Joe, with charcoal to essentially do the final sear on it. What that gives you is a very small gray ring, gives you a nice char on top. And this is how a steak should be cooked. Again, this is, since like a sous vide is more for like thicker steaks, it's really not necessary to do this on like a steak that's only like, like an inch thick, just, again, if you have a steak that's like an inch thick, just sort of cook it like you would almost like a chicken breast, I guess, right? Maybe you can do 2 minutes on each side. Then by the time that you pull it off, you rest it, it'll be a nice sort of medium, sort of medium rare. But again, one last sort of shot here before we end. So that's what we have here. Hopefully there's enough light there. But again, hope you guys enjoyed this, shorter sort of Logan stream, or Logan grill stream, I should say. And I will catch you guys in the next one. And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And again, keep on cooking. And if you need me to answer any steak questions, any cooking questions at all, just sort of reach out to me on either Instagram or WhatsApp. My Instagram is Logans_watches. So definitely reach out to me there if you have any questions about cooking steaks, or if you want me to rate your steak. Maybe you cooked a steak and you're like, hey, did I do a good job? Whatnot. Shoot me like a DM, and I will give you my honest answer and kind of give you pointers on maybe what you could do next time. So again, thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.